Is LinkedIn really the best platform to get high quality leads for software development projects? Or is it Google? Or maybe is it Clutch or Upwork? Maybe it's Facebook or Instagram? There's so much confusion around the best platform, and in this video I want to show you which platforms helped me generate 13.4 million in revenue with my own software development business. And I want to make one thing very clear. In the beginning, the channel typically doesn't work or does work. It's just a matter of how well are you able to reach the right people via this channel. That's the only functionality of a marketing channel. So I've spent over 1 million euro of my own money in the last 4 years and generated 13.4 million with my own software development agency. I have another business that's called FlashUp, and with FlashUp I generate around 60 to 80k in revenue per month only from ads, and we spend like 15 to 20,000 in ads per month because we only work with 20 people at the same time. That's why this business is limited. It's my passion. I help software development business owners and agency owners build scalable customer acquisition systems. But I digress. So the point of this video is that I want to show you exactly which channels work. Because when I started my software development business in 2011, right, I just grew by my network and referrals and recommendations. And that's typically how it starts, and that's totally fine. But you will get to a certain point of revenue, and also you will have high client dependencies when your business grows with just a few clients, that you want to ask yourself, well, how can you get more predictable leads? How can you become independent from a big client that can quit every single day? And that's the time when you need to choose the right channel. Otherwise, you will just burn your time and your money, and that can be very frustrating. So for example, in 2012 or 13, I started running Google ads, and they worked incredibly well these days, right? You just pick the right high intent keywords, and that's what really matters with Google. We will go into the details of what you need to respect when we go into different channels to make the channel work. But these days, Google was working very well. You just pick the right keywords, and then of course you need to have a good offer and a good landing page. That's always the foundation. And then we got leads for 100 to 300 euros, and this turned out into projects between 15 and sometimes like 800,000 in revenue. When we started working with our biggest client, BMW, they did like 400k every single year with us, right? All these clients, they came from Google ads. But these days, I think the search behavior changed a bit, and that's why it doesn't work anymore. But there are other channels that work exceptionally well. But before we dive into the details of which channel works best and what are the pros and cons of these channels to get software development clients, I want you to understand that the channel is just one component of a successful marketing system. The other components, and one of the most important components, is that you need to have a high value offer that makes clients really interested in your services. Instead of just communicating general software development services, everyone does that, and no client is really interested in this unless they did all their research and found some companies they like and trust because they have a good offer and they have good case studies, and they decide to like book a call with them and consider working with them. But if you are marketing to cold traffic, people who never ever saw your business, right? That's what you do on social media. That's what you also do on LinkedIn, on Google, eventually on Clutch, by email, phone calls. All these are cold traffic channels. And you want to make sure that you have an offer that is so good that it's hard for clients to say, okay, I ignore this, right? You want to make sure that clients pay attention and then become a lead, book a call, and ultimately after talking to you, they buy from you because you have an attractive offer and because they like you and your business and they trust you, right? Trust is the number one currency of marketing, also in software development, and you need to understand how to build trust. That's also part of this video where we go in depth into all the channels that exist, and I will give you all the learnings that I acquired while spending over 1 million in the past 4 years on all these platforms together. And there is one platform that really stands out. So let's dive into the details. All right, so now let's look at the details of which platform works best. And we start with LinkedIn because most business owners I talk to think that LinkedIn is the best platform to get software development clients because there are all the CTOs, CIOs, CEOs, startup founders, etc. And LinkedIn did a great job to position the platform as the go-to platform for B2B marketing, right? And it's absolutely right. There are all these people, not everyone. But there are also big disadvantages. We will go into that in a minute. So the first positive thing about LinkedIn is that you can really precisely target the right people. That means you can target these people by demographics, their industry, business size, job functionality, job role, job title, etc. Right? That is good because it allows you to target the right people. But this is just a demographic. This is just that you get in the right people. It doesn't mean that they have a need for your services, right? And by the way, this is, spoiler alert, this is a big con, a negative part of LinkedIn, because it doesn't optimize based on intent, based on who really needs software development services, right? And then you are just like promoting to everyone in the industry, while just 10% of these people might have a current need for software development services, and then you like just burn your budget for 90% of people who are not relevant for you. Okay, but we were at the positive side. So the other positive side is that there is still little competition when it comes to paid ads, right? There is so much competition with direct messages and content marketing because everyone does it with mediocre success, I would say. But with ads, there is little competition. So the audience is already in a business mindset. That means if you show them business-related content, that's already matching their expectations. That's why they are on the platform, okay? That's also a good thing, because on every platform, you want to create content that feels native for these people to consume, because it is similar to other content and it doesn't stand out as an advertisement. So the next thing is, it really works well for video ads. They added a new feature, that's fine. And it has built-in lead forms, which means you don't even need a website. You don't even need a landing page. You can run the ads straight on the platform and let people enter their contact information in exchange for like offer details, a lead magnet, etc. So then it also works well for offers the majority of your market needs. Remember, the first pro was that you can target people precisely based on their demographics, but the negative side is that you cannot target based on intent. Which brings me to the conclusion that this platform is excellent if you have offers the whole market needs. For example, digital marketing services. Every business needs digital marketing, lead generation, customer acquisition. So that's relevant for every business in the industry you choose, right? And it's relevant for every person, like especially business owners and marketing managers in this niche. However, for software development, that's not the case, because not every business needs software development, or at least is not aware that they need software development. Even if they need it, from your perspective, if they are not aware, there is no way to sell, okay? So that's why you need to have a platform that allows you to use intent-based targeting, and we will get to these platforms in a minute. So organic reach is possible if you continuously and ongoingly add new people to your network, right? The typical connection request. And then you create organic content that is relevant for these people. You can get a good organic reach and a good organic following. So that extends and that supplements your paid ad funnel on LinkedIn, okay? Also for retargeting, LinkedIn is perfect. That also works very well. It also can scale if you have a big audience, right? Which is not the case for software development, just as a spoiler alert. All right, so let's get to the negative side of LinkedIn. So as I already said, the targeting misses intent. You cannot target people based on intent, and that's a big, big downside for software development, because you will spread your marketing budget across all people in a specific niche, independently from if they need your service or not, right? Or if they show that they are really interested in your services. The CPM, that's what you pay for showing your ad to 1,000 people, is pretty high, okay? It's a premium platform that is exclusively for B2B. Another downside is that there is just medium login times per week. That means people don't log in to LinkedIn as often as they do on other social media platforms. And that's a problem, because you want to increase the frequency of how often they consume your ads, right? So that you like influence them, they become aware of you, they understand the value proposition of your offers, they understand the uniqueness of your business, they see other case studies, etc., right? It needs far more than one touch point. Typically, it needs 7 touch points or a lot more in these days, where people don't have a lot of trust when it comes to like seeing other strangers on social media, okay? So you need a lot of touch points, and with LinkedIn, it's hard because people don't log in so often. There is no AI targeting. Of course, LinkedIn has AI, but the algorithm is by far not as good as the AI of other platforms. That makes targeting harder, and you need to tweak a lot manually. And that is typically like tapping in the dark, because, well, you don't have all the data to make smart decisions, but the AI has all the data based on content consumption of its users, and that helps you target the right people. without doing more work, right? That's the beauty of AI targeting. Then it's not working for niche offers because, yes, well, it lacks intent-based targeting, and the CPM will go through the roof if you have a too small audience that is less than, I don't know, 20,000 people. Now, you also have lower ad engagement because typically people are on LinkedIn in their business mode, right? They are consuming, they are very conscious where they comment and where they get a benefit to interact with an ad or with any content piece. And that, decreases the engagement, which is also not good because you want to get people to engage so that they sign up and become a lead. That's the whole purpose of your marketing and sales funnel. So that's what I have to say for LinkedIn. My conclusion is I try LinkedIn every single year and I stop it every single year. I work with a lot of software development business owners. Some are 100% convinced LinkedIn is the platform to go. I set up their funnel on this platform, no problem, but I asked them and convinced them to also run a funnel on other platforms just to compare based on real results, not just on assumptions. And I can tell you that the other platforms always win. I never saw LinkedIn winning in this experiment, never ever. So that's why LinkedIn for me is definitely not the platform to go when it comes to getting software development leads and clients. Meta. I typically hear clients say, Meta, oh, this is just for consumers and my audience is not there and it doesn't work. Well, I can tell you the opposite because Meta is exactly the platform that I use in most cases to get my clients high quality software development leads. And you might think this is not possible because there are just these like freebie seekers and private people and the platform is like not working for B2B. It is not positioned as a B2B platform, but it has, and this is the list of all the positive parts of Meta and the pros, it has the most powerful AI targeting because it has all the data. And I can tell you every one of your audience is using Instagram, eventually Facebook. They are all scrolling their feed. There are some exceptions for sure, right? But the majority is there. Now the question is just how do you create the content so that it like gives your audience a native experience and that your ad doesn't just look like a stupid ad in the feed, right? But we'll get to this point later. So the targeting is very, very good if you know how to feed this algorithm with the right data. If you know how to feed the algorithm with who you want to target. And that's done based on two factors. It's done based on, well, your ad creative, which should be typically a video ad that's psychologically built up and optimized to catch the attention of the right people. Because if the right people watch your video, Meta, and specifically the AI, will show your video to more people who are similar like those that already watched. And then there is conversion. That's why you need a gatekeeper that filters out the wrong people and only lets the right people pass that exactly match your ideal client profile. And when you report this conversion back to Meta, to the AI, then the targeting works in your favor. Because then you get more of these people that already converted. And that's so powerful. You don't need to tweak and set all the interests and like all this technical stuff on the platform like you had to do it 5 or more years ago. Today, it's all done by AI, but you have to know how to feed the AI properly and train the pixel and condition the algorithm. Okay, then Meta is one of the best platforms by far based on my experience. I get almost all of my clients from Meta. 80% and 20% is retargeting on other platforms. Okay, we'll get to these other platforms in a minute. So then there is intent-based targeting because when you build your video creative so that you talk to the right people, you call out the right people, you talk about the problem, and then you mention your offer with all the benefits people get, and you make it very clear in a few sentences what it is, what clients get, what they can expect as a result, and for whom it is not. Then you only get engagement from people who are really interested in your offer. And the conversion is the ultimate signal for interest, right? And when you report back the conversion, now Meta shows your ad to more people that are similar to those that already converted. And that's why the targeting gets better and better the more conversions you get. And that's how you can use intent-based targeting, people who really show an interest in your offer. And that's much more powerful than just like spam the market with freebies and they eventually sign up for the freebie, but they never ever buy from you because they don't have an intent to buy anything. Okay, that's like the pencil collectors on exhibitions. They just want free gifts, free stuff. They will never buy. They don't have an interest in your business nor in your offers. The CPM, 1,000 impressions, are much cheaper than on LinkedIn. CRM data integration allows you to feed back data from your CRM system and train the algorithm even better with deeper funnel data. For example, in the front end, when a person converts on your form, you can collect the lead and report back a lead. If you qualify this lead with automatic questions with conditional logic, you only report back the right leads, okay? But if these people become a client, depends on other factors later in your sales process. And this is what happens when you report back the CRM data to the algorithm and to the AI of Meta. Now Meta understands even better who becomes your clients and then targets these people on the platform. That's very, very powerful. No other platform has this. Yeah, it has also built-in lead forms. You can create a form right on Meta. You don't even need a website or a landing page for testing and getting leads pretty fast. It works well for niches, right? If you know how to build the ad correctly and how to speak to these people so that only the right people engage with your ad. And of course, have this gatekeeper with conditional logic to filter out the wrong people. It has a built-in mini CRM that allows you to have a sales pipeline and structure your deals. If you don't want to do the full integration, you can start with this. And this also trains the algorithm. If you, for example, disqualify a lead, or if you qualify a lead in the backend in this mini CRM, it reports back to the algorithm, and this trains the algorithm and conditions the algorithm to show the ad to the right people. Okay, that makes it so powerful. All these touch points, all these data points you feed back makes the platform target the right people for you, even if you have no idea how this works. I also don't know, because Meta has all the data. We don't. That's why it's a multi-$100 billion company in valuation. Okay. So then organic reach is possible on Instagram, on Facebook not, but yeah, on Instagram it is possible. And you have powerful retargeting capabilities, because you can build another retargeting campaign to influence people again and again and show your content again and again. So when these people are ready to buy, they consider you and eventually buy from you, because you did a good job in building trust with all your retargeting content. And you want to make sure that you spend retargeting money only for the right people, which means people who watched your video by 50% or signed up on this lead form to learn more about your offer. By the way, if you have campaigns running on LinkedIn, you get them on a landing page, they get pixeled from Meta and Facebook and Instagram. Now you can also retarget people who have an account on Meta, saw your ad on LinkedIn, clicked, landed on your landing page, and now you can also show them retargeting ads to also nurture these people on Meta, because again, people on Meta are much more frequently online than they are, for example, on LinkedIn. And that allows you to show your ads more often and get them more value, influence them more, and move them further in the decision phase and in the decision process. It's definitely a scalable platform because of all the pros that I showed you. There are some cons. It's not attribute-based B2B targeting. So if you have no idea how to use Meta correctly, you might get really lost in all these interests that you can stack and combine and exclude and whatnot, which is not really effective anymore these days. But you might be under the impression that you cannot find the right people there based on these interests. And the answer is you don't have to, because the targeting is 100% influenced by AI targeting. Okay. The UI is really complex and old school. I hate it. When you look at it, it feels like you get cancer in your eyes, because it's so old school, it's so outdated, but it works. What's behind in the backend, right, works really well. So people are not in business mindset. They just want to get eventually entertained, educated. Maybe they see something about their friends, want to consume news, etc. Okay, so your content should lean into this current mindset. There is a high competition because this platform is so good, because they have all the users, because it works so well if you know how to make it work well, okay, for your offers. And that's why the competition is high. So you need to have good ads. You need to have a good offer. You need to have a good and very clear understanding of your target audience, but then this platform really crushes it, okay? It's very technical, so all these integrations and the UI is very technical. So you need to understand all these details. And they change things a lot. So the algorithm changes a lot, the UI changes a lot, there are new features introduced, but that shows how the platform evolves and gets better over time, okay? Definitely my platform to go if I start a new offer, always. I always start with Meta. For micro-testing, for the MVP funnel, to get leads very fast and see which leads I get, and then optimize my funnel from there and eventually expand to LinkedIn or other platforms. Okay, so Meta, for my experience and from my priorities, is definitely the #1 platform to start any funnel with. Good. Google. Well, on Google, people are actively searching for something. So if you are able to find keywords people use to signal that they are searching what you offer, for example, software development agency, or more specific React Native agency, or whichever software development services you provide, if you find keywords that are not just signaling that a person is interested in the topic, like software development in general, doesn't mean that they are searching for a software development service provider. It can also be a person who wants to start learning software development or doesn't even have an idea what software development is. They just heard it for the first time and Google it, right? That's how you need to interpret these keywords and make sure that you choose the right keywords. Otherwise, you burn your money for people who search for something related, but without intent. Same problem as on LinkedIn, just with another technical root cause. What you can do very well is retargeting, especially on YouTube. You can show people videos, right? And that works very well, by the way. The retargeting on Google is very powerful. So if you have one platform where you get like cold traffic from, where people discover your brand, your software development business for the first time, like on Meta or on LinkedIn, if you still don't believe and trust me, then you can retarget them on Google Search, on Google Display Network, and on YouTube. And SEO plus paid ads is very powerful because SEO helps you rank organically, even if the search behavior changes big time, because I see that people, and including myself, don't scroll through all the search results anymore, but we just look at the AI snippet that is shown on top of the page, right? So that's a disadvantage. Let's see how Google deals with it. I can tell you, I've grown my software development business initially starting in 2011, slightly with Google once I realized that I have to get leads independently from my network and referrals. But then in the last like 3 to 5 years, the performance decreased year after year, really. And the other platforms got better, especially for software development projects. Okay, so the cons are there is no good demographic targeting because the targeting mainly works with either AI. Okay, they also have this AI features like Meta has it, but I think it's not working as well as on Meta right now because the content consumption is different and the frequency of how often people see your ad is also lower than on Meta. So there's a complex structure. The costs are sometimes very high for niches, right? For example, we also offer Drupal development, which is a content management system, and we pay like 14 euro per click, which is incredibly high, sometimes even more, depending on how desperate the competitors are to get more Drupal projects. But yeah, we stopped these ads because it absolutely makes no sense. You cannot even test properly with it. And typically it's just your competitors clicking on these keywords because they know it costs you money. And that's how they can like heavily steal your budget, because if your competitors click, they will never become a client, right? So that's a big problem. Of course, there's technology to prevent this, but this just adds even more costs to a platform that, from my experience, isn't working very effectively when it comes to getting software development leads and clients. Okay, so yeah, the search volume is decreasing because of AI search and ChatGPT. That's why the performance is decreasing, and you only have limited messages to really articulate and communicate your offer. In YouTube ads, in videos, of course, you can do the same as you can do on Meta and Instagram. But when you use the search ads, and then you just have limited characters, right? And you cannot communicate your full offer and your USP and show case studies. You can do this on a landing page, and you have to, because once a person clicked because they liked the offer that was described with a few sentences or with a few words, even just, then you want to make sure that you get your client all the information on your landing page so that your landing page converts. On Meta or with a video, you can communicate everything in a video, and when people click, they have a high intent, so chances are much higher that they convert because they consumed all this content. That's a complete different game compared to just like they read an ad, a text ad, and then they click, and now they need to consume all the content to understand the value, to understand what's your unique selling proposition, what they can get, who you are, etc. Right? So it's better to have this before the click in a video ad than just have a cold click that doesn't have all this information, and then they land on the landing page and the landing page has to do the heavy lifting. It's better to get this information into the mind of people as early as possible, right? Which is on the platform, but that's not possible on Google search. Okay, so Clutch. Well, Clutch is a platform that is awesome to get like people who are searching for an agency to discover your brand. That's what it is made for, okay? It's specifically for agencies, so the intent is high. You can show case studies, which helps you build trust. You have a paid option to boost your profile. You have a high intent audience, but the audience is typically limited. That's just the downside, that you have limited search volume, a limited audience, and very high competition because, yeah, there are just agencies on the platform and people are searching just for agencies. So it's important that you can differentiate your agency, your business, your software development business from others. And typically you do this with your offers and case studies, okay? It's also great for SEO. You will get found on Google if you have a good Clutch profile. However, So it's absolutely not scalable because you cannot even influence how many people get on the platform to search for an agency. They are there, and it depends on how well Clutch promotes the platform to the right people so that they can search for your services. And then, yeah, there is very high competition, as I already said, and you need frequent reviews just as a factor to stand out against your competitors and to build trust. Okay. Otherwise, every profile looks the same, and then it's hard for clients to like choose your software development business. Upwork, Fiverr, let me compare this just directly because I think it's a good platform if you're just starting out. If you are a grown, established software development business, it's hard to get the right people there. It's similar to what Clutch does, right? Here you also have not just agencies specifically being promoted on Upwork and Fiverr, and it's not just clients searching for agency services in the software development industry, but for all kinds of services. So you get fast success to get clients, but typically these are low-paying clients, okay? That's what Upwork and Fiverr promises, that you get freelancers. They are much cheaper than an agency. You have client profile transparency. You see who the clients are and what they typically pay, their average hourly rate they pay, etc., which is important for beginners, but not for established businesses, especially when these hourly rates are in the lower range. The client budget indicators are also good for you to see how much the client is willing to pay for. It's easy to use, and it has a high intent audience because people go on these platforms to hire somebody. It's just a question or a matter of if they find the right people there, and if they have the budget that you want to consider them as a high value client, which is often not the case. Okay, so we find talent on Upwork and Fiverr, but we don't get clients from there because it's too low priced. Okay, and these are all the cons. This is the downside. So then we have two other cold channels I'm not a big fan at all, right? Cold email and cold calling. So cold email, definitely an advantage is that it's a direct channel to your audience. That's the same as for cold calling. The email list is easy to get. There are many tools to scrape websites and get contact data. They might not always be correct, but yeah, you get the people. If you know whom you want to target, you need to understand that you cannot target a business. You can only target people in the business. This is applicable for all the platforms. And when you collect emails, you should not just collect the info ad of a business, but you need to make sure that you contact the right person, the CEO, CIO, CTO, eventually product owner if you want to get software development clients. But spoiler alert, I never saw this working for software development, okay? I really never ever saw and heard and experienced it myself that cold email or cold calling works to get software development clients, okay? You need to have a very high volume, and most people, including myself, give up early, like after 1,000 calls or after sending 3,000 emails, right? You have to personalize it, so it takes a lot of time. But as I said, I never saw it working. So this is a platform that requires your time. And for the other platforms, you can spend your money. So if you are an established business already and you have some money on your bank account and you are conscious about your time, you don't want to waste your time, right? But you have money to invest in order to get the data, get visibility, get leads, and get clients. If you nurture them the right way, then I would definitely prefer a paid ad platform because, well, our time will pass and it will never come back, but money comes and goes. So if you have money, I would rather invest it into paid ads. That's what I do. I would never waste my time with cold email or cold calling because it's just annoying the masses. I hate it. It's like, I decided to give you an objective comparison, but these channels are so annoying to me, ingoing and outgoing, that I cannot recommend to use them or start them to get software development clients, okay? So if you want to look at it, pause the video, read through the pros and cons. Okay, that's for cold email and that's for cold calling, but I think it's definitely not worth your time. Unless you're a total beginner and you don't have money, then it makes sense to start with something, right? I would rather go on LinkedIn and connect with people that are in my industry and then create valuable content so that they become aware of me, and then use cold email and cold calling as an extension. But I would not use it as the only cold traffic channel to get new leads and clients. All right, so that's it for today. I think that was a lot. And yeah, if you want to build a sales funnel that you need for any of these channels, if you want to build a high value offer that makes clients really being interested in your services, and if you want to build your whole customer acquisition funnel with paid ads, right? I don't do cold email or cold calling for you. Then below this video, you can click a link and yeah, see how that works. We can have a conversation, build your strategy. I can give you a forecast of which cost per lead and cost per client you can expect and profitability you can expect. At least if you like the video, you got some value, click like and subscribe. That helps me create more of these videos, and these videos help you grow your business faster, more profitably, and with less work. I'm looking forward to the next video. Cheers and happy scaling.